Hey, how are you guys? It is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. Now, in this video, I want to talk about how to grow your MSP, but not in the way of sales or marketing, but as far as knowledge goes. And I want to share with you guys a ton of stuff that I have up on my screen that is going to help you accelerate your growth through the MSP world. So before I get into that, I do want to mention two things. One, I do have my masterclass. There's a link down below. I'm going to say that in every single video, so I apologize if you've heard that over and over and over again. And number two is there are tons of helpful links down below. So if you're struggling to find your perfect client, there's a buyer persona sheet down there. If you are looking to track your sales, there is a sales Excel sheet that I built. Took me about 6 hours to build. That is down there. There are tons and tons of resources, and I have even more resources coming in the future. So in any future video, check the links down below. I just want to make it super easy and accessible for you guys, and I'm going to be having them posted on my website as well. I am going through another rebuild of my website because I can't stand my current website. So let's get into today's video. So I already mentioned that we're going to talk about knowledge, and you've been watching this channel. You probably trust me at this point, and I hope you do. I've done a lot, and I've given a ton of my knowledge away completely for free, and I don't want to hide any industry secrets in all reality. I want to expose as much as I can and get you on the pulse as fast as possible. You are probably a beginner, and you need to get to that next level. Whatever that next level is for you, I promise you this video is going to connect those two together to make it significantly easier for you. And knowledge is going to be a huge part. Now, I'm not talking about technical knowledge. You probably already have the technical skills. Some of you may not, and that's okay. You can learn that. There are YouTube channels out there, specifically one that I really like, Professor Messer, but there's other ones. You have Linus Tech Tips. You have so many out there that are talking about technology, and you have to learn the core principles of IT. You have to know what a CPU is, RAM is, a motherboard is, a Optiplex series Dell computer is. There's all of these kind of technical words and things that only you would know if you're really in the industry, you would have knowledge of. Otherwise, the word Optiplex probably means nothing to 99.9% of people actually out there. But there's a way to rapidly accelerate your knowledge. And yes, YouTube is a fantastic resource, but there's so many other areas out there that you need to go explore. And I want to share with you guys some events that are coming up. Now, I am in no way affiliated with any of these events, but if there's an event organizer or you know an event organizer that is looking for a speaker, I would love to speak at any of these, because it would be the coolest thing in the world. So I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to dive in, and I just want to share a couple different things with you. So right off the bat, we have Ingram Micro and specifically Ingram One. Now, I've talked about Ingram Micro in the past. Now, Ingram Micro is a wholesaler. They send tons of stuff to you. And the coolest part is they have what is called an SMB team or alliance. And that is specifically designed to help a small to growing medium size MSP grow quicker. They give you tons and tons of free resources, from having a team of experts that can help you build out a coffee shop and what POS system you need, to Dell experts on call at a moment's notice to help you build out a massive server if you needed, or Cisco experts for a switch. Whatever it is, they are a fantastic resource. Now, I have personally been to Ingram One. It is a phenomenal event. There is a lot of like pump ups and cheery stuff that goes on in the industry. I can promise you, if there's anything that you're going to take away from this video, if you choose to go to any of these, the pump up, the cheer up, the cool music, while it's great, it does nothing for your bottom line. That is where the least amount of information, in my opinion, comes from. The sit downs, some of the sit downs are pretty good. Some of them are not so good. But what I can tell you is the best thing that I ever did was go to the happy hours or the late night dinners or the after parties. Even if you don't drink, you can go there and have seltzer, water, whatever you want. But the connections that you make are worth their weight in gold. And the cool part is imagine you get to sit down with me for 2 or 3 hours and a bunch of other people that are even smarter than me all in a room for a couple hours, and you could pick their brain and see what worked and talk to these business owners, because business owners are attending this. Now, I'm not going to lie. I don't know all the prices for all of these. Ingram One, I want to say, is about $1,000 to attend if you're an MSP, and then it's $300 per additional guest plus your room fees. So you're looking at probably about $2,000 in Tennessee. That's one of the only ones I do know about as far as price goes, but it is a fantastic event. It is really, really cool. They have a ton of experts in the room that are going to be speaking to you. Now, I didn't put these in any particular order, but I did want to start with Ingram One because I have been there, and you're going to get a bunch of swag. You are going to walk home. If I had all of my swag until my house fire last year at this time. It was super cool, or better yet, about 2 years ago now at this time. But it was super cool. It was a lot of fun. 10 out of 10. Now, I'm not saying this because, once again, I'm not affiliated, but you're going to learn so much. You're going to have a ball through the entire thing. Now, some other ones that I've already gone through and vetted, I do want to mention because I don't want to, once again, there's no gatekeeping. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm hiding some information from you guys. Now, I do apologize. I believe that these are all in the USA, so I'm sorry about that. I didn't do the whole world because I would have spent hours and hours and hours doing the research. But the next is going to be IT Nation. This is hosted by ConnectWise. You have November 8th, 9th, and 10th. And by the way, Ingram One, I don't believe it showed it, but the dates are, I want to say mid-September. I want to say like the 23rd. Just Google Ingram One. I'll put the links down in the description below as well. But you have IT Nation. It's hosted by ConnectWise. Probably, arguably one of the best RMMs and PSA tools are out there. Also completely personal preference. In that case, I started on ConnectWise. I have vetted plenty of other programs out there, and honestly, they all seem pretty darn good. But it was the first one, in my opinion. They're the biggest, but I would highly recommend attending some of these. Next is going to be Spice World. I've heard really, really good things about this. This is coming up, so by the time this video drops, you're only going to have a couple days, but who knows? Maybe next year you want to go in person, and now you know about it because of this channel. And in that case, I did my job, and I'm happy that you're going to be there. I do plan on attending some of these events next year. I'm pretty tied up for the rest of this year. I have a bunch going on, but I do want to start going to some of these events. So if you do go to some of these events, send me a message or leave a comment and tell me when you're going, because I might be going to that, and maybe we'll meet up. Next is going to be your Channel Pro Network. This seems pretty cool. I did some good research on this. There is a bunch of information in here. It's September 6th, September 7th, and I believe September 8th. But it's at the Boston Marriott. It looked really good. There was a ton of information on here, especially for MSPs. And once again, the connections that you build are worth more than anything else out there. I will say Channel Pro seems like a cool event, but this looks pretty old. You got to update that. You got to give it a little breath of fresh air there. IT by Design looks super cool. September 18th to 20th in Orlando, Florida. And you'll realize a common theme. Like November is when events start to die down. December is pretty much a ghost town. And then things typically ramp up in like March-ish to about November, October, somewhere in there is usually like event season to attend. Now, the best advice I've ever gotten in my life is you should try to attend at least 3 seminars per year. And I'm not saying that because, once again, I have no affiliation with these, but I actually have gone through a fair amount of seminars, and I've made some incredible connections. I have learned some great information, and you're kind of immersed in the tech. If you're like feeling the passion is going away from the tech world, or you're kind of losing that, this is what reignites you. It is these events. You get there, they do supercharge you. I don't think that the supercharging, like rah, it's the greatest thing in the world, is the best thing in the world for everybody, but it is a cool way to like light a fire under your butt, see all the latest tech, and there's a ton of super cool giveaways that they give. But IT by Design, once again, September 18th to 20th in Florida, prices starting at $400, which is actually pretty fairly cheap. Next is going to be the National Cyber Summit, obviously cybersecurity. And one thing I will say is if you go through the keynote speakers and you see somebody who isn't in the MSP world or the world of specifically what you want to get out of it, don't go. It sounds crazy. I've already vetted all these. There was other ones in here that they had these like really famous speakers that aren't going to share any knowledge that's going to help you as an MSP owner. It just doesn't. So if you see something and you're going through investigative reporter, cybercrime award-winning website, okay, that's pretty cool. We have this guy, Director of Homeland Security. He probably knows what he's doing. VCI, VCISO, double shot security. So these are all really good. OT cert, head of OT cert, Dragos. I actually don't know what that is, but that's okay. Based on the other 3 people that are speaking here, it would probably be worth investing the time, energy, effort, and money to go attend these if you see a good speaker. If they have these like super high-end names, I don't want to start mentioning people, but if they're on Shark Tank and they have never done an MSP before, you probably want to avoid them. Not because that they're bad people, but because they don't know the specific industry knowledge that you so desperately need. That's the difference. So we got National Cyber Summit September 20th and 21st in Huntsville, Alabama. You have DattoCon. This is going to be huge, October 2nd to the 4th in Miami, Florida. And you'll start to realize too, as you go to these events, oh, Jesus, look at that. It's already sold out. So if you want to go to this, you definitely got to get in early. But this is a good one. This I've heard is really, really, really worth attending. So if you're going to book it for next year. I will probably be there next year. Shift happens. And this is a prime example of one that I probably would avoid. And I just wanted to bring it in and show you guys that, hey, this is what a clear indicator is. Now, I'm not saying any of these people are bad. Best-selling author and storyteller, Microsoft, right? Futurist, GTM strategy, Microsoft, information architect, black belt at Microsoft, you know, senior product manager, Liberty Mutual Insurance. Now, I'm not saying that this is bad, but this is probably one that if I was really focused on learning the MSP industry and technology and all that, I would probably bail on this one. And the last but not least is a security event. It's called ISC East. It is a fantastic event. I've been there several times now. It's fairly cheap. It is in the Javits Center in New York City. I want to say it's in November, or it was in November last year. But it was a really, really, really good event. Here it is, November 14th to the 16th. So all of these events, and the reason why I threw the security one in too is as an MSP, you are going to run into security issues, cameras, access control, recordings, the whole nine. So attending these events and just keeping your finger on the pulse, even if you get nothing out of it other than knowing what technology is out there, even if you don't plan on installing hardware or software for the security industry, it's good to just know about. It's like having somebody ask you like, hey, can you explain like a switch to me? Like, you should just know about it. You might not be the master person to figure it out and configure it, but you should know that it exists and what's actually out there, because you don't want to have a customer present you with a piece of paper and say, hey, I saw this at an event. What do you know about this? And you're just staring there blankly. You can't know everything, but if you don't even know a little bit about the space, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. So what I'm trying to say is, after all of this, you have to go out and you have to be willing to learn. There's so many different areas to learn. I have an online course. It's called the MSP Sales Pro Blueprint. It is down in the links below. But you have to invest in learning. And I love taking online courses, and they're fantastic. I wouldn't have built it if I didn't think it was great. But you also have to attend industry events. And if you're struggling to get to that next level, I've learned so much information, so much amazing information from attending seminars and seeing the people I bump elbows with and building lifelong friends. It is so worth the time, energy, and money that you invest in it. I get it. Not everybody's going to have the funds for every single one. Like Ingram Micro's $1,000. I know not everybody has $1,000. Find one that can fit in your budget, or go for one day, or figure out how to get in, or become a media person and go in. I only have a camera lens sitting on my desk right now, but bring a camera and say, hey, I'm going to go be a reporter for, I don't know, TechCrunch, and call up TechCrunch and get a media pass. Whatever it takes to get in there and learn and bump elbows and see people is worth its weight in gold. You're going to meet so many incredible people along the way that are going to help you. You're going to be able to bounce ideas off them. And it's just an amazing, amazing way to grow and learn. But you have to invest in some level of education. And a lot of that comes from seminars. A lot of that comes from online training. And a lot of it comes from being in the industry, seeing it, feeling it, touching it, and understanding how it all works. So I hope you guys found value in this video. I know it was a bit of a long one as far as me just walking through different seminars that I think are worth attending. But I hope that if you were thinking about something else, maybe you reallocate to one that I recommended. I don't know. I'm not an affiliate with any of them, but if you know of somebody that is looking for a speaker, I'd be very interested in going out and speaking. Other than that, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And if you've made it this far, like, subscribe, and notification bell. I got some banger videos coming out. I'll see you guys later. Bye.